Rice, as we said, coming up later on.
So, when you're shading a vertical threat, there's typically a list of things you probably shouldn't do. I would argue this is at the top of that list.
You see Worthy motioning over on Kelce's side.
2nd and 8. Oh, you want a vertical game? Here you go. There's Worthy taken to the 45-yard line. We really didn't know that was going to happen, folks. We weren't trying to foreshadow.
Now, this is a genuine question for all of you watching. What do you do if you're the middle field safety Malachi Starks in this case? A twin set with the stack motions into a 3x1. The coverage is tipped entirely, and vertical stems are dialed up on both the boundaries. And I haven't even gotten to the best part yet. Those are two of the fastest wide receivers that this sport's ever seen. Not only, by pure definition, are you in no man's land, but Marlon Humphrey's bluff on the blitz gave up all the leverage. Starks stayed equal all the way down the post in case he made them pay for it. Alright, now take a walk with me and let's look at literally the very next snap of the football. Albeit it's an incompletion, and obviously nothing production-wise amounts from it, but rewind it and look at the initial layout defensively. A 4 front, staggered backers, and a 2 high shell. Now put yourself in Mahomes' shoes for a second. You're more than likely going to be thinking some sort of zone coverage here. Maybe quarters, a cover 3 rotation. I mean, the extreme soft coverage on Tyquan Thorton here tips all this off. Zero chance it's basic man here with all this free real estate being given. But it is. A 1-cross concept with a 5-man blitz. Strong side plays head on Thornton, and the weak roams opposite the trips ready to cut off any potential crossing routes. Andy Reid's got a guy that was cut 10 months ago, garnering more attention than Xavier Worthy. That sounds like a problem.
Those 2 throws will change the defense. If you don't ever throw them, Jim, I'm not threatened by it.
I didn't think that we would see 3 full games without this guy to start the season. And now that we've looked at both sides of the spectrum, it feels like words don't do it justice what he means for this offense. Mahomes aired it out 40 total times in the 2024 season. He is almost halfway there in 4 games of football.
Mahomes putting it up for grabs again for Thornton that time. He reached around his body to catch it at the 1.
I mean, it almost feels like it's 2018 again. But it's not all about those deep shots. It's what they do for the ladder. Look at just the 6th snap that Xavier Worthy was on the football field here. A quarter shell and 13 personnel offensively. Now, there's nothing disguised about either side of the line here. The Chiefs actually only have a 3-route play design with extra protection called, and Baltimore's in Balls coverage. Basically, it can be looked at like cover 4, but also has the option to turn into cover 2 if the boundary corner notices an out route to the flat. Now watch what speed and IQ can do for you. Worthy's vertical stem occupies both the quarters, and Kelce makes sure to release past the second-level linebackers. And their instinct is to carry him to the sticks to avoid a gap shot in the weak space of the zone. Notice Kyle Hamilton signaling down to that boundary corner to drop to the 2 read like we mentioned. And what do you know? In the blink of an eye, you've turned a check down into a chunk play.
Mahomes gonna dump it off to him. Smith darts down the sideline and tiptoes and keeps on going. Oh, good looking hustle. Was able to slip out of the tackle by...
Now, some of you might be asking yourselves right now, why the hell did this guy just break down a 17-yard check down? Mahomes and Worthy only connected on 1 deep ball throughout the entire course of this game. It was the first clip that you saw and that we broke down in this video. The devil is entirely in the details with how you design plays around this guy. And what happens when the football's not in his hands, it's just as critical as when it is. Just look at Xavier Worthy's yards on underdog to prove that point, which, by the way, is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. I mean, there were plays all over the place catching my eye from this game. Higher on Xavier Worthy's 46.5 receiving yards? Bang. More on Mahomes' total touchdowns? Check. Then add another, like, say, higher on Zay Flowers' total receptions, and all of a sudden you've got a winning entry. It's simple higher-lower projections based on your favorite player's stats. And if you sign up in the app using my code DIGEST, new customers who play $5 will get $100 in bonus funds, and even a gimme pick on top of this. For example, my gimme pick while making this is Bo Nix on Monday Night Football. And you all know I'm going to be putting that to good use. Then after the Sunday games in Chiefs-Ravens, I even went looking ahead a little bit. Bo Nix, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. They all start 1 playoff game this season, and $10 is giving me something to look forward to. And again, y'all can join in on the fun thanks to Underdog. Picks like this all season, chances to win up to 1000x. Just sign up using the code DIGEST in the Underdog app, or check out the link down below in the description. Now back to that last play we mentioned.
And a 2nd and 6.
Nobody runs with the motion. That means it's zone. Quick little passes right away. Boom.
End zone bound. Kansas City, Tyquan Thorton.
Chiefs are in trips, and a return motion from Brashard likely indicates the coverage for Baltimore. Now, the pre-snap layout would tell you that it's a cover 2 variation. If you're the quarterback, taking notes from prior in the game would tell you that as well. Ravens busted out a cover 2, Tampa 2 style defense versus a mesh concept in the second quarter that ultimately in the end only led to KC putting 3 on the board rather than 6. So Mahomes has pretty much every right to assume it's that type of a coverage yet again. Deep halves, a hole zone, which if it's Tampa 2 ends up turning into a pole runner, and 4 low-level backers. A gap sit down with a flat, and a post, drag, and 3-yard delayed in-breaker from Xavier Worthy. Watch how this simple of a route design manipulates the coverage. Worthy holds off on the stem, and Kyle Hamilton pulls wide in the process. If you're in his shoes, you've still got to stay home to your zone. Xavier's route could very well still turn into, say, a fade back corner of the end zone. Remember those 2 drop steps he took. Thornton releases cross face of the hole zone, and the drag from Juju also grabs his attention. That right there is the read for Mahomes. He drops you, go low. If he sinks, you strike the window. Those 2 steps prior ultimately took Hamilton out of the equation.
Patrick Mahomes, and that was quick and explosive, and you see, when you get the ball down the field, corners are going to play a little further back. Things start to open up right there around that linebacker level.
That cover 2 Thornton touchdown didn't happen by accident. Drawing a crowd to the guy became a priority. This drop back to a T pretty much explains the entire point of this video. Now, Kansas City, rightfully so, loves sitting him on his own island, because not only does it stress defenses into picking between prioritizing either a one-on-one or a trips look, but there's also that guy who's pretty much just as fast as Worthy lined up in the slot opposite. Andy Reid's got basic verts called from the huddle. Ravens seem to have a 3-buzz rotation dialed up in coverage. Hamilton drops hovering the trips, and Starks rolls down playing a vertical hook. Again, pretty much trying to intervene with any crossing routes coming into the higher level of the zone. Believe me, the last thing you want to do is leave this guy on an island. But at the same time, it's pretty much just pick your poison.
Here's a 1st and 10. Inside 3 minutes to go in the half, and another deep ball for Worthy. Isiah was trying to stay with him.
Yeah, and
All of these incompletions, but I promise you, you are bound to find success eventually given that kind of separation. Same trip set for Worthy solo, but this time it's an opposite 3-buzz coverage rotation. Starks is sinking weak to the post, and Hamilton's on the vertical hook trip side. They're intentionally giving that favorable cushion in case of a deep ball. But this time around, it's a hitch to the 6.
not slow developing.
They got Smith, the rookie, in it, running back on 1st down. Pass open is Worthy inside the 20. Steps out at the 15-yard line. He has returned and he has produced.
Keep in mind as well that any of the given routes we're looking at for Xavier Worthy in this video, they could very well have dropout tags on them. A vertical and a comeback option. Let him and Mahomes decide what works best based on the scheme in front of them. You notice little tricks like that for an example from start to finish in these games, whether that be through the play calling or the quarterback play in general. Flip one play prior to this. You remember that deep ball incompletion we broke down? The 3-buzz double on Thornton, which ultimately left Worthy completely on his own island? Well, look at what happened the very next snap. A personnel change and a defensive gamble. Chiefs removed both their deep threats from the equation, and Baltimore ended up sending the house on a zero blitz look. Didn't take too long for Mahomes to figure it out, though.
And a 2nd and 6.
Cover 0, he said. That means get the ball out. That means they're pressuring.
And if he's right, at that point it's just weighing your leverage across the line. Identify the blitzers off the snap, and lob it up to the mismatch.
Here comes a blitz by the Ravens. Ball lofted up in the air. Caught by Kelce. Perfect touch pass by Mahomes for 16.
Versatility and route designs can do wonders for this team. Anytime you don't need to rely on Kelce being one of your primary vertical threats, it's no secret that it's a positive. Having Worthy back in the mix, when you're able to attack all levels of the field, there is no reason to overcomplicate it sometimes. A 2-read backside right off the drop. Stutter fade for Worthy, and a speed out with leverage for Kelce. Take the shot if it's there or fall back to plan B.
Tony, that's exactly what you're talking about. When you got Worthy in, you get plays like that are open for Kelce again.
You're exactly right.
We've already seen Andy Reid reverse his use in the play, and it's the exact same story. Fade for Hollywood, and a hinge out for Xavier Worthy. Either capitalize on his gravity or strike when they forget about it. But make no mistake about it, the frontline success absolutely writes the script in this case. You can't go deep if you don't have time, and this was arguably the best game protection-wise we've seen from Kansas City in damn near half a decade. How you utilize him is one thing. What you do because of it is another.
Pass in zone, caught, touchdown for Mahomes.
The deep ball threat extends to every facet of the game. I didn't even get to touch on what it's done for the run game in the 60 minutes we've seen. Sure, it is a microscopic sample size, but things so far for this team, they just feel a little different. Now, is the final result going to be different? That is not for me to answer, but I am curious about your answer. So let me know what y'all think about this team so far in the comments. Either way, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all more than anything, and I'll see you in the next one.